Poop shoot. I've had a couple beers. It's Friday afternoon. For now, at least, life is actually all right. I wouldn't say good, but all right. Acceptable, anyways. Acceptable. Boom, boom. Let's resume this garbage series. Friday afternoons are wonderful because I can't remember if I've talked about this before, but during the summer, the custodial hours are, we work an extra hour and a half. Monday to Thursday, and only have to work 4 hours on a Friday, so I get out early and it's a beautiful sunny day. I was in the pool for a couple hours. Well, in and out of the pool. Shooting on the net out back, reading my book and stuff. I had to come in and play an hour of Gran Turismo here because I think I was getting too much sun and drinking too much beer, so I needed to have a bit of a breather here. And I got ball hockey tonight, so I don't want to, you know, have too many beers and get sunburnt and then play like shit tonight. So let's come in and race this garbage car in this garbage series, right? And I can't even see because it's a friggin' night race. What the hell is this? I can't see a damn thing. Like, does this thing have headlights? What the fuck is this? There we go. Here's a bit more light. This is ridiculous. I can't even see anything right now. What the fuck? There we go. Sunrise. Come on. And today's 4 hours at work was pretty good. We've had an ongoing debacle. So I think I've talked about the principal at our school before and how she's a real fucking piece of work. Honestly, I wouldn't piss on this fucking broad if she was on fire. And there's been a big debate about, you know, the gardens in front of the school and whether those are custodial responsibilities, grounds responsibilities, and from everything, you know, that I've heard has ever been told is that that's not really our job to take care of that. And you know, in most cases, like we've talked about this, is that if you have a good principal, somebody who can treat you like a human being and you know, respect you and ask for things, not demand things and just point out what they want done without even saying anything, and just treating you like a piece of shit, right? You know, if they ask for things like this, you know, he's like, yeah, I'll take care of that for you when I have the time and whatever, and you know, there's that mutual respect, and they treat you well, you do extra things for them, right? And in this case, with the way this broad acts towards us, you know, she will never get anything extra because she's just a mean lady who she only ever wants to see us, you know, she sees us sitting around for 5 minutes having a break after we've been busting our balls on something for what? She's like, no, I need to find something for them to do, even if it's not their friggin' responsibility, just to see them working and sweating. And you know, I can't tell you how many injuries I've had since I started this job just because of the repetitive nature of it, right? Like, both elbows have had issues. I had a real problem with my left heel a while back. My right shoulder finally just healed a little while ago. And my back, I threw out my back at the last school, and now I battled through it all. I haven't missed a day because that's just who I am. You know, I finish hockey games with separated shoulders. You know, I walk around on a broken leg for 3 months. That's just who I am. I finish things. I don't go off on leave, you know, unless I really have to, or, you know, like this is something that's just who I am. But, you know, we need breaks. We need downtime. Because mopping a floor or sweeping a floor may not seem, or wiping furniture or whatever the hell we're doing, may not seem like a big deal when you just see us doing it every so often. But when you do that all day, every day, many times over, it takes a toll on your body because it's repetitive movements. And you know, I had to take a physical kind of test before I took this job to determine whether, yeah, you'll be able to hack it or not, right? Because repetitive movements are a real nuisance. Like, they can really cause a body problems, and that's what I've noticed here. You know, and you know, she's just thinking, oh, these guys aren't fucking doing anything for 5 minutes. I'm gonna try and saddle something on them, right? And you know, she's just this real control monger, micromanager, thinks she knows what's best for fucking everybody, and she knows how to do everybody's job, and really she's just a bitch. And everybody that I've talked to in terms of, you know, people coming into this school to do maintenance and stuff like that, everybody fucking dislikes her. Everybody hates her. They all know what she's like, and it's not an uncommon thought about this person. And so where I was going with this is that, you know, this whole garden thing, it was just so overgrown, and it wasn't our responsibility. And then she's tried a number of times to saddle it on us. And finally it went to our supervisors, and you know, they tried to dump it on us, but then there was some pushback, a whole bunch of stuff happened. And then finally the end result was that they were going to have the grounds crew that deals with our school come in and you know, clear out a lot of it and put some mulch down so that it can become maintainable. So, you know, the whole thing is, if we're going to maintain it throughout the year when we're already busy inside the school with everything, you have to make it maintainable so that we can go out for half an hour a week, pull a few weeds, and it all looks great. But the way it was right now, you'd be out there 24/7 for 3 weeks in a row just clearing this thing out. Like, it was ridiculous. And so what happened was, this company came in, and the guy was just like, fuck it, and he took all these power tools to it, and just, like, other than like the little trees and stuff that are in it and a few hostas here and there, he just clear cut the whole goddamn thing. And it looks awesome. It looks so clean and stuff now, but you know there's a reckoning coming, right? And it's just going to be awesome, because I can't wait. Like, it's like you push, and this is what you got in the end. Are you happy? You know, fuck off, right? Like, so that's been kind of the what's been going on at work today. So what I did today at work was, I with all the power tools this guy had going on all the plants and stuff, it was carnage. Like, there was little bits of plant splattered all over the front windows of the school, and it's a long front of the school. So I was on a ladder all day, kind of cleaning the windows and getting all that crap off so that it looks really good, right? So when people start driving by or showing up, right, it's like the garden's all fucking cleared out, the windows are all clean, it looks clean and nice, you know. But yeah, she's not gonna be happy, and personally, I don't give a fuck, and I can't wait. Well, no, I can wait, because I can wait till the end of summer to see her again, right? Like, I don't need her coming in at all. She's such a fucking bitch. realistically, I want my relationship with her to be over as soon as possible. This is one of those people you meet in your life that you never want to see again, and you actually, it's one of the people that you hope if you ever do see again, it's later in life after you've gone your separate ways. There's never a fucking situation where you're ever going to be working together again and you can just fucking tell them what you think, right? This person is honestly not worth the fucking life that fate gave to her, right? She's just a fucking complete waste of a life. And that might seem pretty harsh, but I've lived for over 40 years. I've seen a lot of stupid shit in my life, and some people just can't, I don't know, they just gotta cause problems for other people, and I don't respect that, I understand that in a workplace, sometimes discipline and direction have to be given if somebody's not doing their job or something. But you give it, you let the person run with it, and hopefully they're able to change or meet the expectations and everything's good. And if they can't, well, then you have to look into, okay, what's wrong here, right? And you manage them properly and civilly, right? But you get somebody like her, she just thinks she honestly thinks she's the queen of the fucking province. Her position is the most important position in all of history. That her little tiny fucking school actually matters in the grand scheme of things, and that everybody's there to please her, right? And she doesn't know how to fucking interact with people. And I just have no respect for a person like her, and whatever happens to her, in terms of negatively, she's brought it on all herself. She's earned whatever comes her way in terms of negative pushback and circumstance, right? So I honestly, I really enjoy the other people I work with for the most part at this school. There's a couple others that are pieces of work, nothing to her level, but for the most part I enjoy, the majority of the people I work with at this school, but just for the sake of being away from her, once this next, it's nice being there in the summer because she's not there, and you can, it's a nice environment to be in because, custodial staff all gets along and you go about your work and everything's good, right? But the moment she enters the fray again, I hope I'm out of there by the time the new school year comes around, because she's just a piece of shit, and I don't want to fucking deal with her anymore, right? And I shouldn't have to. People like this should not be put in charge of things, they really should not be. And I actually heard some stories through the rumor mill that this board, and I don't know if it's even province-wide or countrywide or whatever, but they're having a hard time finding good candidates to be principals in schools. I don't know if with the school system now, I think there's just so much liability involved anymore with so many different aspects of schools, that there's so many different procedures and policies and methods in place now, and so many nuisances that you have to put up with, I think, that people don't want to be in charge of schools anymore and be principals of school as much, because it's just, yeah, you make good money and everything, but is it worth it when you have to put up with so much bullshit, right? So I think from how I was led to understand it is that it has become such a nuisance that way that a lot of people now, they say, no, I don't want to be a principal. It's not worth it to put up with all that bullshit. So now they're kind of left with, okay, well, these are the candidates we got. Most of them aren't suited to be in charge of a school, but what the fuck are we going to do? They're the only people we got, right? So you got people like her being inserted into these positions that they're not suited for, that they can't fucking properly do, you know? So then you're left in situations like I have right now, where you hate going to work in the morning because you have to deal with this person, right? And you know that your day is going to be filled with bullshit every day to varying degrees. Some days it's not bad, you might get a little bullshit. Other days you're going to get a ton of bullshit. But either way, every day, unless she's off sick for some reason or whatever, every day is going to have a degree of bullshit in it that you're going to have to fucking put up with, right? And that's not a good environment to work in, right? Like, it's not. And you know, and with I find it pretty hilarious with, you know, equality in the workplace now, which I think is mostly put in there for minorities and women and stuff, and anti-bullying stuff, right? That we have to put up with shit like this from a person like her, right? It's just, you know, I think because I'm probably a white male or whatever, nobody gives a fuck, you know, that there's a principal that's always giving me shit, right? Like, well, you can't stick up for the white male, right? So, you know, the world's gone kind of ass backwards, right? Like, I get, you know, human rights and equality and stuff, but it's almost going too far, you know, to one side now, right? Where everybody's not equal now. Now it's going the other way, where, you know, the people, it's going overboard the other way, right? So my voice won't be heard because, oh, he's a white male. Fuck, they're the people that we're trying to rebel against and fight against with everything, right? So, but yeah, and that's not meant to sound ignorant or whatever. I'm not a sexist person. I'm not a racist person. You know, living where I live, especially in the 80s when I was younger, there really wasn't a lot of diversity. You know, growing up, I maybe knew one Asian kid, one East Indian kid, I don't think, maybe, yeah, one black girl in public school. You know, it was very white. But, you know, when you're a kid, you don't see that stuff, right? Like, even though there were very few, they're still just other kids, you know, you play with them, and if you have common interest with them or whatever, but you don't think like, oh, fucking, look at this person, they look different than me, so I'm going to fucking automatically hate them, right? Like, when you're kids, you don't think that, right? And as I got to high school, it got a tiny bit more diverse, but not that much, and then as I got out into the work world afterwards, right, it got a lot more diverse, but that's, you know, and that's great, because I've never had a problem with anybody just because of what they look like, you know. The only thing I care about is, you know, I may hate you, but it's not because you may be black, you may be Asian, you may be white, you know, you may be anything, but the reason that I hate you is because you're a stupid, mean, asshole kind of person, right? It's not because of your physical characteristics or your whatever the fuck you believe in or what, anything, right? Or your gender. It's because you're an asshole. That's why I hate you. Fuck, trust me, there's nobody that loves women more than I do. You know, fuck. You know, but it's just, you know, I feel that, you know, it's just, I don't know. I feel like just because I'm a white male sometimes that, I don't know, people are out to get you now or something, but you know what I mean, sort of thing. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. The world's gone kind of weird, and it's like you can't just all be fucking comfortable with each other and whatever, right? Like, I honestly don't think racism and that stuff is ever going to be eliminated. With future generations, it's going to get better. It's going to get a lot better, because with the focus on it now, and with young kids growing up with that focus now, you know, that's when your impressions are made, when you're a kid. And if you're brought up in an environment as a kid where you're taught that everybody's equal and I shouldn't judge this person because of their beliefs or their physical characteristics or whatever, that sticks with you, right? It's going to get better with generations, but there's always, I don't care what anybody says, there's always going to be hateful people out there. There are people that are just born into the world that thrive on fear and hatred and whatever. So I don't think that, you know, ending racism isn't realistic. Improving racism is definitely achievable, but I think it is going to be the work of at least, I'd say, a few generations at least. It's going to get better with each one, but you know, you have to have, you know, the conversations going and the focus on it continually, and with each generation that's born into it, and as young kids and they grow up with that focus, it's just going to get better and better, right? So, which is good, you know. But like I said, I think people have lofty goals sometimes when they become committed to, like, say, ending racism, because it's never going to end. In any bad situation, you know, the U.S. and their fucking lax gun laws, even if they come up with more stringent gun laws, which, let's be honest, they're not going to. I mean, the U.S. is they're all about their civil rights and their guns and their right to defend themselves, and I don't think that's ever going to change. That's just the way they are. But even if, let's say, they were to come to some sort of realization on that, and at least take some steps towards minimizing gun violence and stuff like that, it's still never ever going to go away completely, because there's always going to be whack jobs who are able to get access to guns one way or another that are going to commit these crimes, right? It's just the nature of the world and the nature of the human race. Human race is a destructive, violent, selfish species, and they're ultimately going to be, you know, humans are going to be their own downfall eventually, whichever way it's coming. You know, we're going to have brought it all on ourselves, right? Yeah, so I just think that, you know, whatever the issue is, whatever. Yeah, I think, you know, we've come a long way. You know, from when we were cave people and whatever, and all the different generations and eras that we've gone through, and issues that have arisen and been dealt with and whatever. We've come a long, long way. But there's still that element of humanity that's going to remain in a certain percentage of the population, that atrocities and evil are still going to remain to a certain degree, and we'll still always be dealing with this stuff. But you just got to hope that, you know, it can be curtailed enough, right? So that it's the exception rather than the norm, right? So, but yeah, I don't know. I think about that stuff a lot. I don't really voice my opinion a lot, because, you know, people get so passionate about it. And like I said, being a white male, I just feel like if I say anything, I'm going to be fucking attacked, right? Like, But yeah, I've known a lot of assholes in my life. I've known a lot of great people, and most of the assholes I've met are actually white. You know, because I simply know more white people, right? But yeah, there's quite a few white people that I hate. And one of the best people I've ever known was a fucking black guy that my wife worked with along many years ago. And he was just, oh my God, like this guy makes me look like a complete fucking backwoods hillbilly idiot, right? Like this guy was so smart and he dressed so well. He always smelled like $1,000,000 and he just was so smart and like he fucking knew everything about everything. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like how does this guy pull this off, right? And here I am fucking right? I'm just an idiot compared to him, right? But he was also just so friendly and stuff. And, you know, whenever you saw him, he was just like, what's up? You know, and like just so happy to see you and genuine and stuff, right? Like he's one of the, you know, the people that I just, over the course of my life that, you know, even though, you know, I only knew him and saw him, you know, somewhat regularly for a handful of years there or whatever, he's one of the people that I really, over the course of my life, really enjoyed hanging out with the most, right? Just one of those people that can control a room, make everybody comfortable, conversation never gets stalled and awkward and stuff, right? Like he's just one of those fucking people, right? And yeah, just, and you know, you strive to be more like a guy like that, right? Even though you know you have no fucking chance of ever pulling it off, right? Like when you face facts, it's like, no, I got no chance. Like I really don't have any fucking chance. Well, yeah, he was a really good guy. And then the one, and I'm not even sure if this is politically correct, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but the one Asian kid that I knew growing up, I'm not sure if that's the correct term for it now or whatever, things change all the time. We actually played soccer together when we were like in fucking, I don't know, grade 2 or something like that. And we didn't go to school together at that point in public school, but then we eventually ended up going to high school together and ended up, you know, hitting it off, and somehow, I don't know how, determined that, oh fuck that, we were both on the Drillers, you know, soccer team back all those years ago, right? And so we thought that was pretty funny. And then we ended up going to camp for 2 weeks in the summer, a couple of years together. You know, it's just, you know, we ended up kind of hanging out and stuff. And and the one thing I'll never forget, his name was Norm. Still is Norm. He's not dead. The one session we were at camp together, and I always went up to camp with a couple of other friends, and so it was me, my good buddy Josh, and then Norm in a cabin together with I think we had 6 or 8 in a cabin, so there was, you know, a few, 3, 4, 5 other guys in the cabin as well. That, and another guy we knew, like it just happened like this year that we were all together in the one cabin. There was a few people we knew, like it was pretty crazy. But we were all hanging out, and the one afternoon we all went out in kayaks. And so we went out in the kayaks together, and one of the games that you played in kayaks at camp was, so you all stopped out in the middle of the lake or bay or whatever the hell, body of water. Oh Jesus, I'm terrible. We were on, and so you stopped, and then you all line up in a row, like not lengthwise, like tip to tip, but side of the boat, like port to starboard sort of thing. You all lined up in a row like that, and each grabbed onto each other's kayak so that you're all tight together in a row. And then one of the guys on one of the ends would get up out of his kayak, and then he would run across the bows of each kayak to the end and then jump into the water, right? And I forget, there was some fucking term that it was called, right? Whoever made it up, sort of thing. So the one day we were doing this, and I'll never forget, Norm got out, it was his turn. He got out and he ran across the bows of each freaking kayak, and And it was on one of the last few kayaks, and you know, so and I think it was a bit of a choppy day. It wasn't calm or anything, and there were very few days. I think it was a bay. Is it Georgian Bay that we were on? I don't remember what body of water this was on, but it was a bay, so it was always had at least a bit of a surface chop, right? And so he's running across, and he's on one of the last few kayaks, and you know, the kayak is wet. He slips, and he just goes down, fucking boom. Right on his fucking nutsack, on like legs straddling the end of this kayak, right? And just boom. He went down hard, and I'll never forget the look on his face as kind of, you know, the fucking air goes out of his lungs and the eyes roll back, right? And he's just like, oh. And like, you know, you feel bad for him, of course, but at the same time, it's so goddamn funny that everybody, each guy in every kayak was just like, pissing their fucking pants, which was handy because you're in a kayak in the middle of the lake, so it really doesn't matter if you piss your pants, right? And I'll never, the look on his face will forever be etched in my mind, you know, when that happened, right? So, but again, just one of those guys that is just so friendly, so fun to be around, right? And I'll always have good memories of, you know, the times I spent with Noim. Fucking good times. I'd like to go back to camp. We should be like the movie Grown Ups. We should do a fucking camp reunion all these years later as everybody's in their mid-40s and most likely in unhappy marriages and fucking miserable, right? I think that could end up in some real fucking shenanigans, right? Especially since we'd be allowed alcohol at this age, right? So it's actually a good idea. Interesting. But anyways, that's my whole thoughts on people and racism and stuff, right? I think everybody on Earth should go into every situation where they meet a new person with open arms and open expectations and without any preconceived notions of how I expect this to go, right? But just go in with open arms, open eyes, a positive attitude, and you know, and judge that person based on how they treat you and how you get along, and not based on anything else. And you know what? If you run into a bitch like I've ran into, on the flip side, if somebody treats you like shit as a person, you know, they always say to be the bigger person and stuff like that, and I truly believe in that. You know, like, be the bigger person. Don't give them any satisfaction, but at the same time, don't give them any respect back. If somebody fucking wrongs you and it's not just an accident or whatever, right? Like, if you know this person, if you've dealt with them, you know they're a bad person, and they don't offer you any respect, don't play their game, you know? Don't give them any respect back. Don't give them the fucking satisfaction of seeing you fucking blunder around for them, right? Like, just be like, you know what? You're not gonna treat me like a fucking human being? Guess what? I'm not fucking doing anything for you. Fuck off, you know? So, you know, at the same time, I like to go into every interaction I have with a new person being friendly and open, and I love to laugh. I love to just have a good time and laugh. I don't take things too seriously, and I can get along with anyone, you know? It's very seldom where I find somebody that I actually really fucking don't like. There'll be people that I just don't have anything in common with, and I'm like, you know, I would just never hang out with them simply because there's no reason to, right? But everybody I'll be respectful to and whatever, right? There's very few people that I end up actually fucking hating, but this person is one of them, right? And I've found over the years that I've always been a bit of a doormat, and I've let people walk all over me because I don't like confrontation. I don't like to make other people feel bad, sort of thing. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that that's also taking it too far the other way, right? Like, if somebody treats you like shit and doesn't have any respect for you, fuck them. You know, fuck them. These are the people that continue to treat other people that way and get away with it because they can. Because nobody fucking stands up to them and puts them in their place, right? And I'm not one to openly say, you know, like, fuck you or whatever. I'm more subtle and you know, I'm not going to be friendly. I'm not going to be an asshole to you. I'm not going to tell you to fuck off or anything like that. But I'm also not going to be, oh, let me get right on that for you. Oh yeah, okay. You know, like I'll be just kind of cold. You know, I'll be kind of blank. You know, sort of thing. You know, it's just like that, right? So I think that people need to go into every situation with a positive attitude and open expectations, and definitely, you know, with a lot of respect from the outset. But if you just run into a person who's a piece of shit who doesn't respect you, cut ties with them if you can. If you're forced to work with them or whatever, don't give in to them. Don't take their shit. And if you have to stand up to them in a more confrontational manner, if it comes to that, don't feel bad about it, you know, because people like that really do. It takes a lot for a person that has the gall to treat other human beings that way. It takes a lot for them to realize, you know, so they need to be told to fuck off and you're nothing, you know. You think you're so goddamn important, guess what? You're not. You know, they need to be fucking struck blunt in the head with a shovel about it, and probably numerous times before they're even gonna get a fucking clue about why people don't want to work with them, people don't want to do anything with them, people don't want to be around them, you know, like, not that they fucking care. But, you know, if anybody like that's ever going to change their ways or whatever, they need to have it blunt, right? So, like, if it comes to it and you have to have it out with somebody that treats you like shit, do not for a minute fucking feel bad about it, right? Because these types of people are just horrible fucking people. And do you really need to beat yourself up about it if you have to tell somebody like that to fuck off, you know? Like, that's the way I am. Like, I feel bad if I ever have a bad interaction with somebody, you know. It kind of weighs on my conscience, and I think about it a lot, right? And it takes a while for me to process it and put it behind me, right? So, like, I completely understand that, right? Like, but so I understand that, and you know, and I've always been a real friendly, open, honest kind of person, and I take strife and confrontation and that I've disappointed somebody or whatever, I take that hard, you know. I always have, and in certain situations, I think, yeah, if I've made a mistake or whatever and I've been an asshole to somebody, I think, yeah, I should take it that way, right? But I've for the last number of years, I've tried to work on myself and say that, you know what, I'm one of the nicest people I know. I'm one of the hardest working people I know. And in a situation like this where somebody's just giving me shit just because they're an asshole, I don't deserve that, you know? And I've tried to at least teach myself to, you know what, if something doesn't go right with a person like that, and I start dwelling on it, don't, you know, because it causes you stress, right? Like, and you know, it makes, you know, me have a bad stomach and stuff like that, and it's like, a person like that's not fucking worth it, you know? They're not fucking worth it, right? So, you know, that's kind of my advice. Give everybody respect. Be genuine, be honest, be open, you know, be happy. But if you run into somebody in your life, whether it's a coworker, just somebody you meet on the street or whatever, or, you know, somebody you go to school with, and they don't give you any respect, you know, cut them out and don't feel bad about it. And if they continue to pick at you and whatever, and you feel you need to confront them, don't fucking worry about it. Do it and just fucking don't worry about it afterwards, right? Because it's not worth it. Life is too short to fucking worry about people like that, you know, and let them get under your skin, because that's how they win, you know? That's how they win. You know, you go home at night and you talk about this person and how much of a fucking asshole they are. They would love that, right? That's how they fucking win. So, yeah, so that's about the best advice I can offer, all right? And like I said, I've been alive for over 40 years. I've seen a lot of weird fucking shit. Hell, I've done a lot of weird shit. But, you know, life's too short to worry about stuff like that. The whole world would be a lot better place if everybody just took things a lot less seriously, you know? You know, ego gets in the way, you know. I really like people. I finished last every race. Fuck, this is terrible. I really like people who laugh a lot, have a good sense of humor, and can laugh at themselves. You know, don't take themselves that seriously, which is what, like, I don't take myself seriously at all. Like, I'm a smart person, but at the same time, I'm also a naive idiot, and I know it, and I'm okay with it. You know, I do stupid shit sometimes. You know, my friends, my family call me out on it and laugh at me, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that was pretty funny, right? I'm a fucking idiot, right? You know, those are the type of people that I find it's most rewarding and fun to be around, right? Because they're just fun, and they're normal, and they're honest, and they're, you know, you never have a bad time with a person like that, right? You just enjoy it. It makes them fun to be around, right? Like, and you have a lot of fun adventures with people like that, right? Like my friend Johnny in Hamilton and his wife Megan, which Megan is actually my wife's best friend, but Johnny came along afterwards. But like, me and Johnny just hit it off right from the get-go. We have so many things in common, and he's the same as me, you know, always laughing, always having fun, doesn't take himself too seriously, can laugh at himself, can fucking call himself a complete moron, and you know, and he's one of the people I have the most fun with in the whole wide world, you know, like we just have so much fun together, right? And you know, I just think that, you know, there's so many people in the world take themselves way too seriously. Like this fucking principal, she thinks she's just so fucking her. I don't know. I don't think I've never heard this bitch laugh before, you know, and I can't even remember the number of times I've probably seen her smile even since, and I've been there for over 4 months now, maybe 5 months, right? Like, it's just, what kind of a life is that, you know? And like, what about her family? Her poor husband. He must just fucking work all the time because he's like, well, I don't want to fucking go home, right? Like, fuck. I can only imagine, like, oh my God, right? Like, you know, this is one of those people that just take themselves way too seriously, and they think their job is fucking way too important, you know, and that gives them the right to fucking treat everybody else like shit, right? These are the types of people that fucking the world needs to be rid of, as far as I'm concerned, right? The world should just round up all the fucking people that are like that and jettison them into fucking space, you know? Right? We're giving you a whole bunch of fucking seeds and animals on this ship and a whole bunch of tools and shit, but we're gonna send you up into space, and wherever you fucking land, you're gonna have to figure out a way to live up there because nobody wants you here. You know, we're not just gonna outright kill you because, you know, we're too nice for that because we're fucking normal. But we don't want you here because you just bring everybody else down. So fuck off to outer space, right? Like, right? Like, get the fuck out. Bring everybody down. Make them feel like shit. Who needs that in their life, right? Like, fuck. I've had enough of her. I can tell you that much. God. I got enough problems in my life, you know? Fuck, I got enough stress with a number of different situations I have going on. That's the last thing I need. My old job, it was like, my old job was in travel, as you probably know, because I've probably talked about it over the years, but I grew tired of the travel industry because it's a really low-paying, high-stress industry. That was just a real nuisance. Dealing with airlines is a pain in the ass. Dealing with clients, you separate clients and their money for a trip that goes in any way wrong, and it's 99.9% of the time it's not your fault. It's the airline that dicks them around, or they have a problem at the hotel, which happens, right? Like, you're going down, you're selling a service in a fucking third world country a lot of the time, right? Like, things don't always go perfectly, right? But I find over the years, it didn't used to be that bad, but in the final years I was there, that the clients, you know, I had people that on a trip back from Fiji, the airline changed their seat selection, which I painstakingly got for them in the first place. And it's an airline's right to change people's seats if they want. You'll find that in the fine print. An airline can basically do whatever the fuck they want. And there's nothing we can do about it. But I went through the process of getting these people, you know, all the hotel requests they wanted, seat requests, you know, everything. I dotted my I's, I crossed my T's, you know, like, because that's the way I am. I'm thorough, I'm hardworking, that's what I do. I don't want problems to happen, right? This airline changed their seat selections on their flight home, and when they got back, and that was the only problem with the trip, that was all. Everything else was great. Luke, you're an asshole, you're only trying to line your pockets, you don't care about the customer, we're never booking with you again, we're going to recommend anybody we talk to about travel, we're going to say don't book with these guys, you know. It was just like a what the fuck kind of email I got on a Monday morning, right? And then I just went, what the hell? All because the airline changed your seat selection on your trip home? And this was the email I got? You know, like, that was what was becoming of the industry, right? And like I said to begin with, it's high stress, low pay, high nuisance, you know, like, it was just fucking was not worth it anymore, right? But at the same time, my situation, I worked in an office for the last number of years in that job on my own, you know, so every day I could plan what I wanted to get done, plan how I wanted to get it done, and then just do it that way, you know. I wasn't, I didn't have any coworkers that could throw any monkey wrenches into my plans, you know. If a phone call came in from a client that I knew was a pain in the ass and I didn't want to deal with them, I could let it go to voicemail, and you know, a client like this that gave me all that backlash. Like, there's certain people that you don't want to hear from, right? And it's not that you don't want to give them, I had all sorts of little tricks, right? Some people were just a nuisance to talk to on the phone because they didn't know how to end a conversation, and they would just keep repeating the same fucking thing over and over again. So, you know, call ID is the best thing for you, right? You see this person call and you don't answer it on purpose, and then, you know, 10 minutes later you send them an email saying, oh shit, sorry, I was on the phone with Air Canada on hold or whatever, saw your call come in, you know, what can I help you with? You send them an email, and you're kind of training them to get used to the fact that you communicate better with them by email, right? So then you get them used to the process of just sending emails instead of calling you, right? So, because it just makes your day more efficient, right? You get more work done in a day when you're not wasting 45 minutes on a phone call just hearing this person say the same goddamn thing all over again. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it, let's go. You know, do you want me to go get your fucking information or not, right? Like, sort of thing, right? So, you know, working on my own in an office, I was able to just do things like that and manage my day and manage my practices the way I wanted to, right? Whereas with coworkers in the office, right, and the phones are in and they're like, well, why aren't you fucking answering that, right? It's like, well, because it's this idiot, you know, and I'd rather email them because they're a pain in the ass to deal with on the phone, right? So there's these different strategies and stuff that you could take, and to me that wasn't bad customer service. That was load management, strategic you know, kind of methods to dealing with you know, because when I'm in an office all on my own, it doesn't change. What doesn't change is the fact that there's still that much work coming in. But when there used to be 3 people in my office, now there's only 1. I've still got that same amount of work to do that 3 people would normally be doing, right? So I couldn't afford to spend 45 minutes on a phone call that were needless minutes, right? Because I had that much fucking more to do, right? So these were just ways of, you know, managing the load and making sure I was able to get everything I needed to get done in a day done, right? So I do really miss working in an office on my own, because my boss was, you know, he worked remotely, so I had to talk to him every once in a while, and we had to go over things together, right? But I was just left in this office alone to manage things on my own, and I found it just made me, it's just so much more efficient when you have good workers. If you have shitty workers, no, you can't leave them alone and just trust that they're going to get the job done, because they're going to find ways to fuck around and take advantage of the system, right? That's just the way people like that are. But when you have people like me who are hard workers and take pride in their work and want to do a good job, sure, we're gonna take advantage of the situation every once in a while to take a break and stuff like that. But we're still going to get everything done in a day that we need to get done, because that's just our nature, right? So I just found it so much more efficient and so much easier and so much more fulfilling to be able to be left on our own and just be trusted to get our shit done, right? And it works too. When you have good workers, staying out of their hair, giving them input when it's needed, or instruction when it's needed, is the best. But just always being on them about stuff and blah blah blah, like this fucking bitch, you know, like, fuck off. That you know, having that kind of person always on you about stuff, it makes you not want to work at all. It makes you want to cut corners, and not do work, or not do work properly, just to spite somebody like that, right? You know, so I do miss from the old job that freedom of just being able to fucking go about my job the way I needed, you know, to do my job, to get it done, right? So, but yeah, it's definitely a different work environment now than I was in a while back, right? So, but yeah, anyways, that's all the time I have for this race. But yeah, if you're gonna take my advice on shit, don't take yourself too seriously. Be open-minded about, you know, everything and everyone. But don't be afraid to stick up for yourself if you do run into an asshole, you know? But just be positive, be happy, have fun, but don't take any shit too, you know? So and that took me 44 years to figure that out, basically, right? So, you know, it's not something that you know, people evolve, people learn over time, and those experiences and revelations are what shape people as they become older, right, and stuff, right? This took me a long time to figure this stuff out, right? So, you know, if I can pass it on to you and you can actually take advantage of that information and it helps you out, then I'm glad, because life's too short, you know. Nobody should. I've had a really good life. Like, my parents are amazing. I you know, have lots of good friends and stuff like that. But I've also had to put up with a lot of bullshit from certain people over the years, and I've gone through a lot of strange, stressful, heartbreaking types of situations, you know. And if I'd known what I know now during some of those situations, I would have been a lot better suited to deal with them and come through them a lot better than I did, right? So yeah, if anything I'm saying right now, if it fucking makes sense at all, you know, hopefully it can make a fucking difference for you if you're listening to this. But yeah, so pretty heavy talk for a Friday afternoon, but yeah, That's about all the wisdom I have. So there won't be any more conversations like this in the future. So, you know, you're welcome. Anyways, that's all I got for now. Enjoy your weekend, as I certainly fucking will. Toodaloo!